Those are badger babes down there, also known as American sparrow. Very beneficial bird. Try to keep them around. Their nemesis is the European sparrow. There's one right there in the sunlight. As you can see right there and right there. These two sparrows are actually American sparrows, and they're very beneficial birds. They come down and they eat all the bugs. The reason why they compete with European sparrows is because they compete for nesting space. I've had a serious problem around here with feral cats, mockingbirds, and European sparrows, which have made it hard to keep these beneficial birds around. And so the grapevine you saw in the last clip and the couple of the other plants that we have around here have been failing because of it. What's more, pardon the bobby motion, folks, I got this in my hand. I'm trying to keep it as steady as possible. I'm keeping my voice down because there's animals out here and they're running around in the grass out there, and I just want to let them do their thing. Now, this is kind of proof in the pudding right there. You know, I'm not a sadistic person. I'm not evil. I'm not out here to try and just kill everything. There are specific species that are causing problems around here, and that's why I'm shooting them. Beyond that, there are also some very beneficial animals around here that have been suffering because of that. Because I have not been doing it, because I've been having problems with the state. Well, no more. I have explicit permission, in fact, basically orders, to kill off the pest species around here and to keep the grounds secure, which means, say, the fruitarian birds around here, which are the mockingbird and European sparrow, funny enough, they are considered to be pest species. What's more is that we have a lot of European starlings and we have a lot of other critters around here, but I'm not really interested in shooting them. Although I'm pretty sure that folks around here wouldn't mind. Another pest species we have around here, and I'm sure you'll all agree, skunks. They're cute and cuddly when they're not your problem. When they are your problem, oh God, when they are your problem. Poor animals that you have, you know, your domesticated or your wildlife friends. Well, think for an instance. These are basically feline. Skunks are feline. They'll eat anything. They're omnivorous, but they are feline. So they have a predisposition to attacking, which is something that anybody that handles felines knows. Okay? Any feline species, they have a predisposition to attacking, and that's in a manner of defense. So, depending on the animal, that you're dealing with, you might get attacked. Now, skunks are actually known for attacking dogs, especially around here. What they'll do is they'll basically walk down the street, just a line of skunks, and then one by one they'll split off going all the way down the street until finally you have one or two at the end of the road, and they look around for dogs to basically run up and spray. I don't know if the animal thinks it's funny or something, or cute, or it's a territorial thing. I don't care. And pretty much most of the neighbors here don't care either. Skunks, get rid of them. Now, the reason why we selectively hunt pests is because, say for instance, you have domesticated animals, which I know a lot of people do. Feral animals can transfer diseases to your domesticated animals very quickly and very easily because they're the same species. Just because one is feral and one is domestic does not mean that they're not the same species. It just simply means that one has a mentality geared towards one way and one has a mentality geared towards another. Domesticated simply means that the animal has not had to fight to survive its whole life. So it's only known happiness and joy and love. And there's a difference. Okay, the animal that only knows love and slight discipline, which is necessary with any animal. I don't like anybody who tells me that it's not the case, because you can discipline an animal and love it. It's like having a kid. Go ahead and tell me that's wrong. Go ahead, right now. Go ahead. You're full of shit. Having a dog is like having a kid who's way fucking more demanding, but has very specific demands instead of why all the time. Yeah. Anywho, I've been out here and dealing with these particular pestilent animals, for a while. And the ones that are pestilent are dealt with, but the ones that are beneficial, I'll let be. I tend to really like the what they call badger babes. The American sparrow is a very beneficial bird for aiding in the getting rid of insects, which we have a real problem with down here, because this is a riparian area. I could chuck a stone in my invalid state and hit the water. So you got to think about it. Imagine for a second that you're this close to a river. You could literally, chuck a rock. You know how many bugs are out. Having these birds around is a great thing. Specific birds, though, because other birds tend to make it hard to keep them around. This is all knowledge that I learned as a young man, before I ever had contact with Scrock to go and get my certifications. Okay? Most of my knowledge comes from my previous experience with animals. My whole life I've been told, Blaine, you don't know what you're doing, or Blaine this or Blaine that, and I'm tired of people telling me that I do or don't, or I can or can't. Motherfucker, I'll show you what I can and cannot do. And that's the way I'll look at it. I am a fiercely independent man. Well, be gone, insect. There's a fly in my sty here. Flies. Bug off, McFly. Anywho, as I was saying about beneficial birds and whatnot, a lot of folks think, oh, well, hunting is specifically and solely for one purpose, and no, it's not. Sorry, but it's not. It is for 3 specific purposes. Edification, meaning you are going to eat, sustain yourself from that animal. You are dealing with a pestilent species of animal, something that is causing harm to the environment around you. Or a diseased animal, which is itself dying and may cause the deaths of other animals. And that animal you actually have to find a way to destroy. You can't just bury those because the animals will get to it. It just spreads disease. So those you have to cremate. You have to destroy them. And that's why it's best to just cremate skunks when you shoot them, because they are normally disease-ridden. Not to mention it gets rid of the stink really well. However, in the state of California, you cannot cremate or burn anything in an incinerator while there are wildfires or wildfire danger is high. So until we have another rainstorm, which I've been waiting forever for, not really legally allowed to burn because of the surrounding area being like a freaking tinderbox. This property might be nice and green, and you can thank me for that, but it happens to be that this is in the middle of a desert. It just looks green because you see the trees in the background there and the grapevine. It only looks green. And yeah, there's a lot of birds that hang out around here, but the ones that we want to keep around here are the American sparrows, the red-headed woodpecker, red-throated woodpecker, red-belly sapsucker, the woody sapsucker, Colorado sapsucker, Colorado River sapsucker, and the desert thresher. These are true American species. These are native species we'll want to keep around here. And I'm fine with animals that aren't causing harm to the place or whatnot, or aren't a depredative. That's triangulation right there. A depredating species, meaning that they are a depredating threat. They're going to, and you recognize them as being that kind of a semi-sentient species that are interested in causing specific harm to your crops. Now, I've got no qualms with them going out and sustaining themselves off of wild berries, wild, insects, lizards, what have you. But mockingbirds, for some weird reason, tend to target human inhabitation. They don't look to the forestry around very much, except for nesting areas. They look to humans for food, which is a problem with a lot of fruitarian species during the winter. They tend to look more towards human beings instead of their natural food source, which has become an issue. Now, just as a for instance, in order to not be unfair to the different species and whatnot that are actually native to America, because, hello, I'm native to America, I'm a Native American species of human. Hello? Um, here's the thing. Species that are native to America are kind of dear to my heart, so every time that I have to take the life of a species native to America, in the instance that it is a depredative species or it is in the interest of causing harm to a crop line, like, say, the grapes here on the front, or the growing area, which we're going to be shortly building up here. It's going to be a very interesting little spot. We'll be growing all sorts of fruits and veggies, and hopefully, anyways, and perhaps even some medicinal herbs and a couple of medicinal cacti. It's a thought. But what I'm more interested in, and I gotta tell you all this because I think it's high time that we all invested in a little bit of self-reliance, a little bit of independence of our society, because societies rise and fall, but the human species has continued. We reach a precipice of, will the species continue, or will we continue to fall and rise again and fall and rise again? We keep on reaching this wall where we have these great technologies, but we can never utilize them beyond the limits of our Earth. And then finally we have this great technology that gets us beyond the limits of Earth. One has to think, why is it recurrent that just about the same point in time where human species gets that knowledge, it gets knocked back down to nothing again? My pursuit of happiness is pursuing the knowledge of everything and the understanding of everything, and trying to affect the better, which is something that I don't think that a lot of people recognize about me, nor do people even look towards. They find an instance of, oh, well, he did this and I don't agree with it. And so they look at me as I'm some bad, evil person. Let me point something out to you, fuckhead. I'm not evil. You want to see evil? Think about your spiteful thought of what I did. And then look yourself in the mirror. That's pretty evil. I want you to think about that for a minute. What is truly evil? Hatred, spite, malice, a long train of abuses. Imagine. There are many things that are evil in this world. Can you weather the storm? Or are you like me? You throw down stakes and you fight it. And you come out the other side laughing. That's the whole thing. Are you just weathering the storm, or are you laughing in the face of the gale? To me, storms are fun. Chaos theory at its finest. But, you know, all the wonderful things of our world and all the knowledge that can be, brought about by just seeking that knowledge. the greatness that that gives pales in comparison to those that do. If you sit behind a screen your entire life and do absolutely nothing, you don't get out there and you don't do a job, you don't find a career, you don't find a passion, a pursuit, well, you could be the smartest man in the world, still be lacking. You could be the most intelligent man in the world and still have done nothing. Getting out there and doing, experiencing the world, and then finding what your place in it is, and then fighting for that place. That's what makes a man. I'm fighting for my place. I know it don't seem like it, but there's a lot of folks around here that just hate my guts. And you know what? Good. I don't like them either. Matter of fact, play me some Zac Brown. Yep. Ass in the water, toes in the sand. That's where I'm going to be in about like a couple hours. Just about sunset. I think that y'all can dig with me. A little bit of sand, a little bit of river. And then it's back to work. Work never ends around here. I get meager little tiny breaks. Just so long as I show enough force around the place. People tend to understand, hey, perhaps this is not a place we want to break into. Pest animals tend to stay away. Job well done. Mission accomplished. So, only question is, what the fuck have you done lately?